With the arrival of its first season back in November of 2015, it didn't take long for The Expanse to become the biggest hit of the Sci-Fi Network. But when the views began to disappear, the show was promptly canceled, with Amazon later picking it up for a sixth and final season. What can we expect from this anticipated renewal though, and with headlines should fans be aware of? For all this and more, stay tuned. First of all, fans shouldn't be expecting all loose ends to be tied up in Season 6. You see, although this is currently described as being the final season of The Expanse, doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be a spin-off in the future. There are a grand total of 3 books of content remaining after the 6th season comes to an end after all. And since the content included within that material revolves around a different set of characters following a time jump of around 30 years, it goes without saying that the introduction of a spin-off is certainly on the cards. It all amounts to how many views fans can bring to the release of the 6th season though, with Amazon only given the go-ahead if this is considered to be a financially viable. And this belief was pretty much reaffirmed by the Geek Squad down at Fansided, who had the opportunity to see the season early and let everyone know what they can expect without giving any spoilers away. According to them, the season was a solid ending to the story arc that fans have come to love over the years. So when it comes to expectations of the season, fans shouldn't be looking for an ending that closes all possibilities off. There will be certain questions that remain unanswered, which we won't discuss here due to the fact that episode 3 of the season is only showing up on Christmas Eve. All in all though, the season is considered to be one of the best to date, with combat sequences for days. So then what can we expect from the future of the franchise? Well, as we said before, this really depends on the success of the 6th season of the show. The original franchise is most certainly brought to an end of this final season, but with so much content left in the world, there's no doubt that a spin-off is on the cards sometime in the future. For those of you who don't know, the 6th novel in the franchise, titled Babylon's Ashes, provides the guideline for how season 6 is going to end. But rather than getting into that by spoiling people's expectations of the upcoming finale, we feel that it's best to stick with what won't be tackled in season 6 of the show. This is the time jump, which propels the story forward by 30 years before the next book is started with a brand new cast of heroes and villains. It shows that The Expanse was not actually about the characters we've come to love over the years, who essentially had a minimal part to play in the bigger picture. In other words, it communicates just how small each of us are in the universe, and how large the expanse of the universe is when compared to everyone living within it. Hence the name of the franchise. Goes without saying, but fans of The Expanse have a lot to look forward to. Not only is the 6th season looking to be the finale everyone hoped for, it's also leaving space for new characters to pick things up. As far as this latest installment goes though, there are only 4 more episodes left. All in all, this final season of the franchise is just 6 episodes in total, and deviates from the original length of 10 episodes per season. But this shouldn't be surprising considering how not everything from the 6th novel is going to be dealt with within the ambit of the current show. Tackling the infamous time leap would most certainly leave things far too open-ended, something that's much better suited for a spin-off based on the original. But as it turns out, the showrunners have actually spoken out about how the decision to limit the final season to just 6 episodes was made. According to Naren Shankar, this had a lot more to do with the agreement struck between Amazon and Alcon Television, as opposed to what the creators of the show initially wanted. Remember, Amazon rescued the show from the cutting room floor, as it was previously canceled by the Sci-Fi Network because of a general lack of views and funding to support it. Amazon knew that there was a need for the franchise to be revived for one last season though, which would essentially open it to spin-off based on the same intellectual property rights. And all in all, a 6-episode runtime fit the budget that was being proposed by Amazon at the end of the day. There's no doubt that the fan base would have preferred the usual 10, but 6 is most certainly better than nothing. This does, however, mean that things were somewhat rushed. What can we expect from the remainder of the season? Without diving into spoilers from the books, we may actually be able to tell you what you could come to expect while watching the remainder of The Expanse. And that's because the teaser trailer of the 6th and final season was somewhat telling in release. We know that the crew of the Rocinante is going to be at the center of it all, with a newly reinstated Secretary General Christian Avasarala ordering our favorite characters to the front line of a battle against Marcos and the Free Navy under his control. But if you thought this was going to be a fair fight, think again, as the trailer shows a glimpse of an alien ship that could very well come into play in the not-so-distant future. Remember, we haven't heard much from those aliens who exterminated the ring builders back in the day. And while many fans have forgotten all about them, the trailer really makes it seem like they are going to play a part in the season finale. Will they be fighting with or against our heroes though? Well, we know that it's incredibly difficult to travel through the ring gates nowadays, making it difficult for those within the Sol system to interfere with the battle. As such, whoever comes through is sure to have a personal vendetta against one of the parties. It's a very unfinished thought, but can't seem to get it out of our heads. Either way, we can't wait to see what the future holds. We do, however, know that Alex Kamal will not be returning to the screen. It's old news at the moment, but important to note for those of you who aren't up to date with the behind-the-scene workings of the show. You see, Cass Anvar, who played the charismatic Navy pilot from season 1 all the way through to season 5 of the show, has actually been fired because of allegations of sexual abuse and harassment that have been filed against him. According to a spokesperson of the show, the cast simply didn't feel comfortable having Anvar on set anymore because of the various allegations that have been made against him. As such, the showrunners had to work on writing him out of the franchise as quickly as possible. While not much is actually known about these allegations, we do know that they have been launched by both co-stars of the former pilot as well as a small number of his fans. It's just a pity that the actions of an actor will no doubt get in the way of what we need from the season finale of The Expanse. Alex Kamal has been a massive part of the franchise, and we just know that things would have been better if he were able to feature as one of the characters we get to say goodbye to. That being said, we understand that what his portrayer did was horrific, and he'd never want to endure that kind of behavior regardless of how badly we want to see Alex Kamal in action again. But when will we know the ending of the franchise though? Since December is such a busy month with end-of-year functions and holidays being plenty, it makes sense that fans of The Expanse would want to get their ducks in a row to be able to watch their favorite characters without having to shy away from real-world obligations. So for that reason, we thought it might be helpful to provide you all with the overall timeline of the 6th season to the show, something that will no doubt allow you to plan around its various releases. To start off, episode 2 of the final season will be released tomorrow and is titled Azure Dragon. Episode 3 is then set to release on the 24th of December, just a day away from Christmas, and despite the holiday period, you can expect the weekly releases thereafter, with the franchise coming to an end on the 14th of January 2022. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the future of The Expanse. What do you expect when it comes to the tackled plot lines of season 6 though? And what are your feelings about a potential spin-off? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below.